So I'm here with Professor Pablo Ibañez, who is a leading scholar of international relations at the Federal Rural University of Rio de Janeiro, where he focuses on global governance, emerging powers, and Brazil's role in the international system. His work explores positioning within the BRICS as a bridge between the global South and the traditional Western-led order. And you've analyzed the group's efforts to promote alternatives to dollar dominance in trade and finance. Most recently, Professor Ibañez has commented on the significance of the 2025 Rio Summit, highlighting the increased relevance of local currency arrangements and the geopolitical messaging behind de-dollarization. Your insights, I think, have helped contextualize BRICS not only as a forum for economic cooperation, but as a platform for challenging long-standing asymmetries in global financial systems. So thank you for meeting with us, thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
So
it's a great pleasure.
Thank you. What a beautiful city. It's very happy.
What a beautiful view. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. So to begin with, can you explain a little bit about the historical context behind BRICS nations' desire to reduce reliance on the US dollar? When did the conversation truly begin to gain traction?
Listen, the BRICS began with Russia, China, and Brazil, and India when it started in 2006, but effectively 2008. And the economical crisis in 2008 pushed the group forward. I think that this is the main point to, we have to reorganize the international financial system. This is not working good to the development countries, and all of things and issues around this theme, the reforming of the international financial system. But especially around 2011, 2012 is the first time that the local currency appear in the report, the final report.
Okay.
And that's the point that the countries start to talk more about this. And I think that after Crimea in 2014, this became more and more important, not exactly for all the members, but especially about the problem that Russia has with the sanctions, economic sanctions, and China. China hope that became more and more important in the international currencies.
It's a great question, a great answer. So obviously you've sort of touched on a couple of points. I think some economic, some political. Would you say one over the other was the driver? Was it more the political side of it? Was it more economic, or was it a combination of both?
I think that's a combination, but I think that's something about diminish the power of the West, and especially the importance of the dollar as a main currency in the world, and that how this could turn the countries more vulnerable, and how countries could have another options that can have in the hands. But I think it's the most is most important to China as the second largest economies in the world. I think for China is big issues, and China deal like a big issues. And this is very important. So I think that more than a political or economical issue, I think that this is something about power. This is something about somehow China wants to be more powerful in the world, and this is this path to have its currency as an alternative to the dollar. This is very, very important. And I think that not just my point of view, but this is something that experts say around the people who work with BRICS, with that kind of topic, that is that dependence of dollar has become more and more complicated to develop countries because they have a lot of debt, and not Brazil has some reserves, but that's not the most part of the people. And they say what we don't have some. There's nothing to. We are having bad, the good about this. We don't have. For example, China loan you some money and build a port,
Yeah.
build an airport, and build a train station, and build a train road, and build a railroad. Build something that infrastructure. Here we got a Shanghai port. We got a wind power complex in the northwest of Brazil. Line of transmissions, electrical transmission lines from the north to the south side of the country. It's something that people are trying to move to another. NDB, for example,
Okay.
we did in the last year, we did a loan in RMB
Yeah.
for that complex wind complex in the northwest in Paraíba here. It was in RMB, 1.5 billions of RMB here directed to the local government, and that is now is the people are doing that complex.
We're seeing, I think, more and more of that bilateral trade agreements being signed in local currency. So I think that's escalating. So I think ultimately this was about for China, about getting a seat at the table, which they had on a global scale, but more cementing their position. And I think broadly speaking, as you said, it's a combination, right? It was sanctions that sort of sparked countries like Russia, and I think China.
And Ukraine
Exactly.
turned worst.
Exactly, right? And in 2022, we saw a huge escalation.
Yeah.
So perhaps that was the catalyst. And then obviously the US now encumbered by debt. Now there's a financial argument as well. So perhaps a combination, and maybe this is the time now that the BRICS start to say, okay, this could be our opportunity. So perhaps a timing thing as well.
Yeah, and I think that the Trump election could this more and more. I don't know. It's affordable is exactly the word. More and more easy to people take that discourse and that well, let's change the money because United States is not a place that we can trust. I don't know exactly what Trump wants. One day he said one thing, and another day he said another thing, and I don't know exactly what he wants to say exactly. I don't know what exactly he wants. One day the Trump increased tariffs, and another day he said that the tariffs, he say the tariff is not okay. So that kind of policy that he has been doing without exactly a plan, we don't know what exactly. That China launched in 2015, made in China. Oh, it's there. What I want more made in China, components made in China in information and communication technologies. They put all of that what they want in the plan, and now that lack of information, that lack of not the information, the lack of plan, we don't know exactly what is happened. So that turned more and more easy to people start to let's do this in RMB, let's do this in Rublo, let's do this in Rupiah, the Indian Rupiah, and for the countries of the BRICS, it's easier because BRICS there's no I don't know if you know exactly the exchange between the BRICS is about China.
Yeah.
The most part of the exchange is with China, but you have some relationship, build bilateral relationships like Russia and India that are so important.
Yeah.
That oil and gas and weapons.
Yeah.
There's another simple commerce, and that's something that all these countries are saying, oh, we can do different. We can do, because it's something that in my interest, and you saw China, India, Brazil, and India don't sign the sanctions. No. I can condemn the war, but I will not sign the sanctions.
Yep.
Sanctions is not. This is something that the people who works in the government in Brazil, in India, they said the BRICS has a lot of internal disputes.
Of course.
From China and India, I don't have to explain
Russia and China
much.
too. Yeah.
Much more. It's just China and India. It's on they are together into the block. But the point is, the only consensus is against the sanctions. You have to fight against the sanctions, and the sanctions, there's something with the dollar, because it's about dollar, because the sanctions hit exactly in the dollar.
Yeah.
Because if Russia want to do some transactions in the local currency with China, there's no we don't know.
Yeah.
It's not in SWIFT. They are allowed to do that. So this is something that I think that it's another point that put the de-dollarization in the hot spot on the forefront.
I thought it was really interesting what you said about trust, right? Because since 1971, I think the dollar's global reserve currency state has been cemented by stability and by trust. And I think the stability angle now is being questioned globally. And I think the trust side of things as well. Obviously, with 2022 and 2014, as you mentioned, I've always been a believer. Trump's policies, tariffs, I think they've always been a negotiating tool. But I think, had he followed on from 2016, those policies could have been more effective. Troublesome today in the backdrop of huge money printing, asset seizures, and other things. So I think the word trust was a really interesting one to use.
Really important. That's something that people are saying. You like for example, if you look at, I don't know, 10 years before, 20 years, what is the most trustworthy currency?
Yeah.
And now people don't say that like that way. People now start to, whoa, the dollar has a price, and the price is not very clear what that price is. Could be 5 today and could be 4, could be 3. Here in Brazil, we started this year with 6. $1, 6 euros.
Yeah.
Now it's 5.4. Like drop it, like not fail.
It was the worst start to the year for the dollar since 1973, down 10.8%.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. Something else you mentioned was about unity of BRICS, and the argument I get, because I'm with you, I think the BRICS are committed now, it feels like, to de-dollarization. How quickly it happens, what form it takes, I think stuff. But the response that I get back is, look, how unified are the BRICS on any given issue, right? There's diversity of economies, political systems, major differences in how each member, I think, is approaching de-dollarization. How do you think those differences will shape out? Is there a chance it breaks? Do you think they'll remain together, at least on the de-dollarization angle?
I don't see the de-dollarization as a. I see the countries of BRICS talk about the de-dollarization, but I don't think that the de-dollarization come by BRICS. It's not the group that are doing this. I think it's more bilateral relations that think that because BRICS has no, it's not an institution who has a government and governance is not government. A governance, they don't have the people, the countries don't have like a chairman, a CEO, or what else, a president. And that's not the point of the BRICS. BRICS has a lot of intentions and declarations. Oh, we are going to do that. The words must be better. But there is no something that. But it's important because it's a forum that now you are here.
Yeah.
Now the people from Germany is here. People from Germany are calling. Yeah. Oh, what's happened? What exactly is? I understand if we can have some problem with you, with Brazil, or what exactly is the BRICS do, and that's something that the declaration, the countries pinpoint, food security or climate change, and the question of the dollarization, but they don't have weapons to, but they don't have into the group weapons to do this. They don't have but you can see, you can talk, you can say to me, no, you guys have a development bank.
Yep.
But that development bank is limited. You know, and that development bank has a lot of dollars.
Yeah.
And has a lot of loans in dollars. Yeah. You know, so that's not the point. I think the point is an important place to talk about this, and then China do this bilateral, and then Russia do this bilateral. So that's the guys who really want to change that reality.
That makes sense. So I guess de-dollarization is not the motivation directly. The direct motivation is more cooperation, supporting local currencies, de-dollarization being perhaps the byproduct of it. That's your point?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So another question, if I may, looking ahead, what would success look like for the BRICS when it comes to reshaping the global monetary system? Are we talking about marginal reforms here? Or are we talking about a truly transformative agenda?
I think that one thing that returned in that point that I said just now, BRICS don't have the weapons. This is something that I think is very important to say and put this on the stage. But I think that this is something that occurs. There is a complementarity between the IMF not working anymore. It has not, and so the failure of the international institutions like World Trade Organization, like the UN, but it's not about the economics, but and then IMF, and so what I think that it's a combination. You have some countries that are raising the power in the world, economic and military and other things, and beside that you have to, complementary with that, you have the failure of that institutions who make the people look at the BRICS.
Yeah.
You know, IMF is not okay, so let me look at your development. Let me look to China. Let me look to Russia. There is a problem. Russia is in a war. But a few years ago, Russia is a country that could a lot of business around the world, especially in Europe, constructing oil, gas, and the infrastructure in oil.
Now that makes it. I understand China's motivations are clear. Russia's motivations are clear. What would you say specifically are the motivations for Brazil?
Brazil, I think that the motivation is that we are a part of Global South. We have a lot of problem when we loan by in dollar in the past, and a lot of debt is in dollar, and we have to fight a lot with the economists, with the government people, the banks, the public banks, to reduce that debt, to reduce that dependence. And so I think that the main motivation in Brazil is from the political group. This is important to say, because if you have the progressists in power here, BRICS become more important. If you have the right wing, the BRICS is not important.
Got it.
Not important. Is it not important? Like even in NDB, Bolsonaro put a guy there who is not to work. It's just to have some people there to figure, but not to really work.
Got it.
I don't know if I'm clear.
No.
And that is important because we have one spectrum of the political side said in Brazil that we have this kind of problem. If you have this wing, you have BRICS more important.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to go back, and I just have a couple more questions, if that's okay. I want to go back to what you were talking to about sort of institutions, the new development bank. So is the idea here to create essentially options for countries, alternate systems, and just create more options outside of a dollar-denominated or Western-controlled financial system? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think that is one thing very important, and very important. That's why we effectively create the bank. In fact, we are not very important inside the bank. Inside the bank, the most part of the money is Chinese money.
Yeah.
But this is I think that word that you use, alternative is something really important. It's an alternative. That what the developing countries are looking for.
Yeah.
They are looking for alternatives. They are looking for, and BRICS seems like a place that could have a special place in that moment. You see that there are around 40 countries trying to be a part.
Membership is exploding.
Yeah. In that expansion. That expansion is not a simple one, because we don't know exactly why countries are there. So why that most like the Chinese interest. But one thing that I think the other thing that I want to mention too is I don't see BRICS like a bloc, like a anti-Western bloc. A lot of people were saying that. I don't think that is the main point, especially because China don't want to fight against Europe. That they do a lot of money in Europe.
Yeah.
China don't want to fight exactly like we had in a Cold War.
Yeah.
I don't think that is a new Cold War. I think just that the countries are looking like we have another place to go, another people to do business, a lot of people, another people to do to construct my port. I don't know. That's something that I said to on paper that I sent to the congressman in US. Some the guy from the Washington Brazil office said to me, you can read a paper about why United States are losing space in Latin America. And I said, I can say exactly what I think. Yeah, it's that's why I'm asking you to write this paper. And I said, China is doing, and when we are talking to US, are more they are trying to impose things.